should always start your day off with a little baleen. Some more right here. And there's two more pieces here, here, and a smaller piece here. Okay, this baleen hangs from the upper jaws of the large whales of the world. Generally, if you're a whale in the world, swimming around one of the world's oceans, you either have that baleen in your mouth or you have teeth. And generally, the large whales of the world are the baleen whales. The reason is, I was saying, the humpbacks and finbacks consume 1 to 2 tons a day of food. And if you're a large whale like that and you weigh 40 to 60 or even 100 tons like the blue whale, you need to have some process for consuming that much food each day, getting the ocean water back into the ocean where it belongs. These large whales have a straining device called the baleen that hangs from the upper jaws. This is about 2 feet from 26 feet of baleen that was in the humpback whale's mouth. This is a humpback whale baleen. The baleen hangs from the upper jaws of the whales. The humpback this came from had a 13-foot long mouth. So it had 26 feet of baleen. It hangs from the upper jaws, from the tip of the mouth, all the way back to the end of the mouth, getting longer as you go back. The whale's mouth across, about 8 to 10 feet this way, and another 13 feet coming down the left side. So a finback whale with a twine. What I passed around here are separate pieces. This is one separate piece. If I pull this off, I'd be able to pass another one piece around. There's another piece, and there's another piece. These large whales have approximately 700 of these individual pieces in their mouth, about 350 on each side. Equal amounts on both sides, get longer as you go back. The baleen is keratin like our fingernails, identical to your fingernails, not similar to, but the same stuff. And this is keratin, so is the back, and so is the top. It's all the same thing, although it looks quite a bit different no matter what angle you look at it. From my hands up, this is the part of the baleen that's embedded in the gums of their mouth like the roots of our teeth. This is the part that does the work. And like our fingernails, this grows continuously throughout the whale's lifetime, gets shattered and broken as they're feeding, grows back, and it stays streamlined from the front down to the back, getting longer as you go back. A right whale's baleen at the end of its mouth is 8 feet long, so if I was standing here with it, it would be way up here. So you have some pieces, those two long pieces you have going around here about midway back on the whale's mouth. A bowhead whale, which lives off the coast of Alaska, a very extremely rare whale, has rear plates hanging down that are up to 14 feet long. And some of the baleen gets extremely long. As you can see, some of it's quite short, from the very tip of the humpback's mouth. So that's how the baleen works. And the whales are up here this time of the year just to feed. And whale watching continues to grow here on the East Coast. I become more and more amazed in some respects. Some of the other fascinating things you're going to see out there. There's frolicking, singing, tap dancing, I don't know what else. But they're up here just to feed. And I had some people down here 3 days ago who went on a trip somewhere else, and they told me that the narrator pointed out mating humpbacks. That's quite a feat, since they mate in the Caribbean in March and January and February. I don't know what they saw, but they did not see mating humpbacks. So they're up here this time of the year to feed, and that's basically why they're here. Anything else you see is really an added attraction. The humpback whales are extremely acrobatic whales, and you do quite often get some spectacular shows from humpback whales. Just a note, I don't like to say what we saw yesterday or the day before, but last night we had one of the most spectacular displays of acrobatic behavior by humpbacks that I've ever seen. I've been working with whales now about 10 years. We went into an area last night, we'll take you today. There were 35 to 50 humpbacks in the area, and 25 of them were in the air the entire time we were there, breaching completely out of the water. We saw literally hundreds and hundreds of breaches last night within an hour on the Sunset Cruise. So that's the sort of thing that you never know what's going to happen. That was just a breathtaking show, especially when it was next to the boat a few times. It was unplanned, but the whales were just, whatever got them going last night, I understood started about 4 in the afternoon. When we left, it was getting dark. We got in late last night, and you could still see explosions all around the boat. So it was, but humpbacks are extremely acrobatic whales, and those are the whales that will, on occasion, launch themselves when they get an entire population in one area worked up or whatever gets them going, excited about something. It's quite a show. One speed you get to see yesterday during the day trip. The finback whale, we use that as an example, up to 65 feet, 65 tons, the average size of the finback. Whales move in on a school of fish. They open the upper jaw, relax the lower jaw, gives about a 20-foot span between the upper jaw and the lower jaw. They roll onto a school of fish, they move into a school of fish. With that 20-foot expanse, they take a school of fish and also tons of ocean water. The fish are obviously in the water. Back into the ocean to keep the fish. And that baleen that hangs from the upper jaws allows the water to just pour out both sides of the mouth, but doesn't allow the fish, shrimp, squid, whatever they're feeding on to get out. So once the water's out, this whole area comes back up, all that tonnage goes into the mouth, They can't accommodate all that, so it pours out both sides, but the baleen stops the food from getting out. So it's a straining device, same as when you cook noodles, you pour the whole mess into a colander, the water goes out, the food stays in. It works the same way for whales. Doesn't sound very glamorous, but that's really how the baleen works. The finback, humpback, minke, and right, the big baleen whales out here, and just quickly run down the field marks for those 4 whales. The finback whale, 45 to 75 feet long, white jaw on the right-hand side of the face. We'll try throughout the day to get the boat on this side of the whale so you'll be able to see this white jaw, since they are the only whale in the world with that field mark. Snowy white from the tip of the mouth back to the end of the head, along the right-hand side of the face. The left-hand side of a finback's mouth and head is gray to golden brown, as is the rest of the whale. Whales have finbacks have a tall dorsal fin, up to 2 feet high, given that common name finback. They don't raise the tail on a deep dive. The next whale down here does, the most acrobatic whale in the world, the humpback, 35 to 50 feet long, a slow-moving whale, not nearly as fast as a finback, but extremely gregarious. They raise their tails on a deep dive. The underside of each tail has a black and white marking, and it's as individual to that humpback as your fingerprint is to you, and as different to that humpback and the next humpback as your fingerprint is to the person next to you. No 2 humpbacks, in other words, ever have the same marking on the other side of their tail. Long white flippers, 12 to 15 feet long, they weigh up to a ton. The humpbacks are the only whale with such enormous flippers. Humpbacks have a chin, which you see more often than you think. It may sound ridiculous to point out a whale's chin, but you see this chin more often than you think. From the eyes forward, they have a stove bolt or dill pickle appearance because there are large knobs all over the face and head. So the knobs are about this big. There's a hair coming out of each one of these. And remember, these are mammals that we're working with today, and the fish. There's always some confusion about who lives in the ocean and what's a fish and what isn't. These are mammals, warm-blooded mammals like ourselves, with a set of adaptations to be able to live in a cold, heat-stealing environment their entire lifetime. So being mammals, they don't have a fur coat like the seals, but they still have a little hair left, mostly around their faces. Even the dolphins and porpoises have puberty about this high and this big or that big, but still very high up off the whale's head. They come in a variety of colors due to the fact that they're infested with whale lice. Even whales have lice. Whale lice, which comes in a variety, really comes in a rainbow of colors, and gives these callosities some very unusual exhales and inhales. So instead of having their nose on the front of their face, like we have ours here, they have their nose up here, right on top of their head. 2 nostrils right up here. This makes good sense if you're a whale. Think about how you'd live if you were a whale. You'd be horizontal in the water most of the time, or coming up vertically. The first thing hits the top of the water is your head, and the top of your head, the first thing then breaks the surface is your top of your head with your nose. You exhale and inhale. These are air-breathing mammals like ourselves, and the blow that we watch for is just the exhale breath. With many gallons of ocean water, it gets caught in the top part of their nostrils. The amount depends, of course, on the size of the whale, but most of these whales get many gallons of seawater caught in the very top part of their nostrils. It's like getting water up your nose if you jump into a lake. So when they exhale, the breath goes up and it takes that seawater that was trapped in here with it and makes the breath not only a little bit wet, but also very visible, and that's how we find them. So that's the blow that you hear about from the Darcy blows of the whaling movies, and that's how we spot whales throughout the day. Also, whales sleep in this position like a log or a telephone pole in the water, right outstretched, and they float horizontally in the water to breathe. We'll talk about sleeping and breathing over the PA, but if you're going to sleep in this position on the water and you have to worry about drowning, having your nose up here makes quite a bit of sense instead of having it down here. Generally, those noses are sort of high and dry above the water line. They exhale and inhale regularly while they're sleeping. They're specialized for sleeping. Since they are mammals, you can imagine into a deep sleep in the ground. We'll talk about that as you're looking at them. Oh, last thing here. The eyes of whales are way back here. The question we always get is, where in the world are their eyes? Way back under the, here's the nose here, so it's under the nose and at the corner of the mouth. In other words, if you're a whale, your eye is here and here, way far back. And for a whale, then, that means they can see their flukes, their tail 60 feet behind them, but they can't see in front of their face, a few feet up in front. They can't see straight ahead. But for whales, visibility is very poor underwater, for all of us for that matter. But whales live underwater most of the time, looking for fish or traveling, and the visibility underwater is bad. Their eyesight is excellent. They have the equivalent of our 20/20, but when they stick their heads underwater, they can't see very far. They need to know what's going on around them for miles, so they rely on sound. Either producing sounds or receiving sound, and the broader the skull, the more sound they're going to pick up, like a radar screen receiving signals coming back. So the shoving out or the broadening out of the skull has actually shoved the eyes further back. So sight becomes almost secondary for a whale, particularly underwater. They become more acoustic animals and rely on hearing as they go down through the water column and horizontally through the column. Okay, that's what we hope to encounter out here today, and a little bit about them. As we're looking at the whales, of course, we'll tell you point out the field marks again and show you how to identify whales for yourself if you haven't been out before. We have several experienced whale watchers on board, and sure that throughout the day they'll give you some tips, especially about photography. We've all learned the hard way how not to take a picture of a whale. And
these humpback whales, these are whales on the post here, have a great set of field marks, the long white flippers, 12 to 15 foot long flippers. These are whales with knobs around the base of the head. Hair follicles, you raise their tails before going down the deep dive, and the individual markings on the other side. See the exhale breath there, the blow, rather than the nose being on top of the head. Humpback's average size, 35 to 50 feet, about 45 tons.
Jumps. You want to do tricks too?
Long white flippers underwater, very green. These humpbacks look like they have green stripes on their sides. They look at them long flippers. The humpbacks are slow-moving whales, traveling speed of 4 to 7 miles an hour, capable of doing about 10 parts in the world. And there are only about 15,000 left in the world. They're protected now at 99% of their range. humpbacks around and knock the dorsal fins out, take chunks of blubber out of the back of some of their fellow male humpbacks. Although these whales hibernate in February is deliberately. They're not diving deeply. If they were, the tail fluids would be high and dry there each dive, but they're not. They're just skimming below the surface and then coming right back up again within 25 feet of where they went down. And they're pointed due north, slow surface traveling to the north, moving toward Jeffrey's Ledge. Migration of these whales ends in March or April when they arrive back here from the Caribbean. Actually, the peak of whale watching activity in this area is between late May or early June until the early fall. The highest concentrations of whales here during the summer months. You get some transient activity here at the top of the head. The openings controlled by sphincter muscles that open and shut the nostrils. And those muscles that open and shut the nostrils keep water from pouring directly into the whale's lungs. And they have muscular plugs that run from the nostrils on top of the head right clear through down to the lungs. That exhale breath, they're breathing the same air we are. As they come up, they get gallons of seawater there in the nostrils. They don't shut the nostrils off in time usually because they get some water that pours in there. Top part of the nostrils. A couple of cave drawings from thousands of years ago showing people pursuing whales. And that's how traditionally whales have been found, is by looking for the exhale breath to blow. There's nothing the whale can do about that. They have to come up and breathe. It's sort of ironic when they come up to breathe, which they have to do. That's the tip-off that has been sent the hunters after them. Coming up left of the bow here, real close, much closer this time. We're just in neutral here most of the time. These whales are moving about 1 mile an hour. Just going into as slow as a boat can go. They're barely making any headway at all. Very, very slow traveling. Right over to our left, there's two more whales in front of us. We have that boat underway, close to us. Keep up. Really close to each other.
There it is.
There he is.
The white jaw on the right-hand side of that pitback space there, on the right-hand side. Asymmetrical coloring, I'll show you on the poster this morning. Nice look at the snowy white color.
Hey, see us.
Pinbacks are also an endangered species. They're found in all the world's oceans. There are approximately 100,000 pinbacks in the world, compared to 15,000 humpbacks. Pinbacks were not taken by the whalers because they can swim routinely at 12 to 17 miles an hour and up to 25. The wind-driven whaling vessels is along about 4 or 5 miles an hour. Laughter of the whale. Walk away from the whaling ship. Around the turn of the century, in the 1920s on, the whaling vessels were given diesel engines. Long white flippers underwater on this whale. Again, young whale, probably one of last year's calves, very small whale.
Oh, I hope you got that on film.
They're around 27 to 30 feet. They're about a year old.
Voice, sure didn't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I got it.
Humpback whales born in the Caribbean.
I got it easy. I just kind of keep it on there and don't have to catch it.
January to March.